Hi everyone, on today's road trip we're going to look at a 1929 Lincoln dual cowl sport Phaeton. And we have the owner, Bill. He's with us to show us the car. Thanks, Bill, for showing us your car.
Glad to do that.
How many years have you had the car, Bill?
I've had this car 8 years. I imported it from England,
Okay.
where it was registered in 1930 on July the 4th. So obviously an American citizen.
Yeah.
Shipped the car to England, and it stayed there until I brought it back to Canada in 8 years ago.
Okay. Were you looking for a car like this, or you just stumbled across it?
I did look for a car like this, and I saw a photo of this car at Hershey about 9 years ago, and pursued it in England,
Yeah.
and managed to bring it home. It had been the restoration had been started,
Okay.
but was far from complete.
So you had to finish it?
So I finished everything on the car, yes.
What caught my eye is, besides the size of the car, but the color combination. What are the colors of this car? Is there an official name for the colors?
Yes, this blue here is called Ocean Blue.
The darker?
The darker one, and then this is Seagull Gray.
Okay.
And it's a copy of an ad that was in that Lincoln used to advertise the car.
Okay.
And you can see it there, the colorings
Those are the
off
colors?
a little bit there, but that's the seagull and the ocean blue and the seagull gray.
Yeah,
So
the ad has blue wheels. You went with red wheels, which
I went with the red wheels just to help it stand out a little bit.
Yeah, it definitely does that. And I noticed you went with the pinstripe
Yes.
all around the belt line here, which is very nice.
Now this feature is unique in the Lincoln line for that period.
Okay.
This is a body by lock. It's officially a Type 163B, B
Okay.
for the dual cowl, but this combination here makes this really stand out. So we wanted the color to reflect that, and so with this color combination, it really shows that line. This is supposed to be like a ship cowl on a boat, so it's quite a bit different than all the other Lincolns were at that time.
It's definitely unique, and I like the way it goes around the back, the cowl. It's almost like two-tone at the top of the cowl area.
Yes.
And you've got the black top with black
top.
running boards, which really look nice. It's almost a tritone, I guess.
Yeah.
Is this a courtesy light? Or?
That is a courtesy light that comes on when you, if you have the lights on, you open the door, those courtesy lights.
And down here,
and
what is this?
That's the battery box.
Okay.
Underneath there.
You've got the Lincoln emblem there, which really looks nice. And that wheel.
With
Are these
dual spares with locks on them? And
I didn't even notice the lock. How about that?
Yeah, this little guy right here opens up so nobody takes your wheels.
How about that? You've got driving lights there on the cowl.
Yeah, you got the parking lights. You got the high and low beams in the front here. And
now, what do we call this ornament? Is this a Greyhound?
This is a Greyhound. A lot of people say, "Oh, nice Jaguar," but then this is a Greyhound. If you look closely, there's a world of difference between the two.
Is there?
And Lincoln came out with this in about 27 and used it, and Ford ended up using it as well.
Yeah, I've seen that on some Ford products as well.
Yeah, the 30s Fords, people like this.
You can even see the rib cage on the animal.
You've got the eyes here and the mouth detail and everything else. Yeah,
a lot of detail.
Very much. Yeah, it's
and
beautiful.
Is that a unique sounding horn, or is it just a standard?
It's a straight old Ayuga horn.
Oh yeah.
Yes, yes.
Can we look at the driver's side first? Let's go around here.
This the windshield opens.
Okay.
So you unlock here and you push this out, and now it all flips forward.
Okay.
And you got another vent here that you can open.
The cowl vent.
As if you need any extra air on an open car.
Yeah, it is an open car, isn't it?
The side curtains would attach here and all up inside here, and on these buttons here are for side curtains.
Okay.
and you could still open the doors and everything worked with the side curtains.
Let's look at that interior. Is this a 3-speed?
This is a 3-speed transmission, yes.
Okay.
With the handbrake right beside the gear shift.
Okay, right there.
And you got a full instrument panel, so you can get low enough to see it here because of the cowl. You got a gas gauge, fuel gauge is here, and then somewhere in here you got the oil pressure, the amp meter, and the water temperature.
Gotcha.
As well as the speed, and then a clock over there, electric clock.
And that's an engine turn faceplate, I guess?
That's engine turned, yes.
Very nice. I always like that.
Yeah. And then you have a lighter over there, cigar lighter as well.
And these knobs on the wheel for spark? Or
this is spark advanced retard.
Okay.
This is a throttle, open and close. And these are your lights.
The lights are on the wheel?
The lights on and off is on the
wheel. How about
that?
Yeah,
yeah.
Very nice interior. Nice.
And then you have a compressor as well. Okay. I don't know if you know, you can hardly see it down there, but there's a hose right on the transmission right here.
Okay, I do now.
You can attach your air hose there. There's a little hole in the floor.
I see that, yeah.
The hole in the floor over here is where you stick a screwdriver in and engage the compressor on the transmission, so you could inflate your own tires and so on. So
how about that? Can you show us how this cowl works in the back here?
Yeah, this is something quite unique. The cost of this, making this car a dual cowl, it was offered without this cowl.
Okay.
Without that was around $4,000, but with the cowl, it upped it by 10% to $4,400.
Okay.
So it was quite an expensive attachment. This has clips here, but when you undo them, you lift this cowl up. It's all counter springs, the weights, counterweighted, and then the passenger would get in the car.
And that's how you get in, huh?
I've got the glove box open right now, but so you have 2 glove boxes on the car.
Very nice.
Plus a cigar lighter, and then another courtesy light for when you're entering the car at night that comes on as well.
How about that?
And then
it's very nice and spacious back there.
Armrest, big armrest. Yeah, you got a hollow here. And then underneath this carpet is another storage cabinet for tools and things like that.
Okay. Very unique. It seems crazy that you'd have to lift the cowl up just to access the back, but that's the way it was in the day, wasn't it?
Yes, and then once you're in the car, you would pull this down and lock it in place, and then you would flip the windshield up, and there's your second windshield.
There you go.
And down the road you go. Whether or not the top is up or down doesn't make any difference.
Really. It's a little added protection for the back seat people.
Yes, yes.
And you can see you lose a lot of that, I won't say leg room, but it really jets out into your lap the way that cowl comes down.
Yes.
Now, I noticed you have a rack for a trunk, which you don't.
That was part of the standard model. The 163 is a 5-passenger car. There was also a Type 164, which was a 7-passenger touring car.
Okay.
On it, the body comes back to about this much farther.
Okay.
And this is all slightly different shape, and that rack is not on that. So underneath the rack, you have the fuel tank. You could put luggage on this rack, although there are no tie-down straps or anything provided. This trunk rack here came with the car as well, and that all pulls out.
Gives you a little extra platform for the trunk?
Yes. So that pulls out like yay, and then you can put a trunk on there if you wish.
And you can see the Lincoln behind you has a trunk.
There's
the same type of rack.
Same sort of setup, yes.
Yeah. Very, very nice. Can we take a look at
dual tail lights?
Yeah.
Because it was used in Europe. where dual tail lights were
That was required?
Were required, yes. The standard model came with one tail
light. And it looks
light.
like 3 different shades of a lens.
You have a stop light, and you have a night driving light, which is orange, and then you have a backup light as well. So when you put the car in reverse, this one comes on.
Wow. Very nice. Can we take a look at the engine compartment?
Yes.
Just
so it's latched on this side, and both sides, 2 latches, which I've undone already. And then it rests up here on the slot on the radiator.
What are we looking at, Bill?
This is a Leyland designed engine. Henry Leyland started Lincoln Company in 1921 and sold it to Ford in 1922. Financial difficulties and so on. But he developed a fork and blade V8 engine. So this it's rather a unique design and a little complex to go into, but a fork and blade engine has the pistons on either side directly opposed to each other so that the load on the crankshaft is balanced rather than trying to twist the crankshaft. Basically, that's the idea. Longer life, better quality.
Is it a smooth running engine?
Just very smooth running engine. So we have the carburetor, however, is buried down inside the V. And for reasons of poor fuel quality back in the day, they thought they had to heat the fuel so it would combust better. And so today it gives us some problems with vapor lock, but if everything is operating properly on the car, the radiator is clean, everything works fine.
I notice you have your exhaust wrapped.
That's standard equipment for the Lincoln because this is right near the floorboards.
Yes.
And so the passenger would have very warm feet. However, they weren't so concerned about having the carburetor down inside here and the fuel vaporizing before it got to the carburetor.
Go figure. What are we looking down here? I see a shaft.
Yes, here we have this is a timing chain inside this housing.
Gotcha.
That timing chain is adjustable for tension by adjusting this. It's a offset cam, and then you have a coupling here with flexible discs, which drives the water pump. You have a seal on either side of the water pump. And part of the water goes into the block here, and that shoots straight across to the other side, and half of it goes up into here and starts to cool this engine bank here, works its way up, and comes out here.
Does it run hot? Is it efficient the way
it's fine. Yeah, it's fine. And then the hot water comes up through here and back to the radiator up here.
Gotcha.
So that's the circulation there. And connected directly to that is the starter motor and the generator, which are all one unit. Which is rather strange for us today. So this has 2 windings inside it, one to start the motor and one to generate electricity. And there's an overrunning clutch in here, bearing clutch, that only allows that to drive one way. That's how it works. Well, so
it's a beautiful engine bay. I mean, you've really got it nicely detailed, and I know it runs smoothly and cool for you.
Yeah.
And I noticed it's a different shade of paint here inside the engine bay.
That's official Lincoln engine bay gray, yes.
Yeah, that's actually a 4th color, I guess you could say.
I guess you could say that.
How about that? I just noticed that.
Yeah. This oil filter here. You notice there's virtually no wiring showing anywhere on this car. You got a heavy cable coming to the starter from the battery directly, and then you got the generator cables coming here, but you got very few exposed wires. Because all the wiring is in behind here.
Really, they hid it behind the
yes. So those little wing screws come off, and then the wiring is behind here. And there's a terminal strip here that feeds the wiring underneath the
How about that?
dash.
They actually gave it some thought to give it a nice cleaned up looking engine bay.
Very much so, yes.
Nowadays we just cover it all in plastic with a big plastic shield.
Yeah.
Well, I love your car, Bill.
Thank you.
I want to thank you for showing us your car. Folks, tell us what you think. 1929 Lincoln Dual Cowl Sport Phaeton. Leave your comments below. Definitely subscribe to the channel, and we'll catch you on the next one. Thank you, Bill.
You're welcome.